This machine is our 18 SCP-D with the BR-12 integrated conveyor. The hand winch mounted on the frame raises and lowers the conveyor to desired working height. The bars you see are bolted in place for transport. The BR-12 comes with a cleated belt so it can be operated at a steep incline. This conveyor is powered by the hydraulics of the processor.
Model 18 SCP-D with the extended feed trough. This one has all the options available on our 18 SCP-Diesel. The diesel engine on this is a 33.5 horsepower Kubota 4-cylinder water-cooled diesel. The options on this machine include the multi-wedge system, which has a 4-way on the bottom, which you can see here, and a 6-way on the top. When you see this operate, you'll see that we can put the 4-way all the way down and split over the top of it, just splitting 2 ways using the main wedge. Or we can put the 4-way down and bring the 6-way down and split 6 ways. The other option on this machine, as I said, is the extended feed trough. This allows you to do full-length logs, as you can see that we have on this machine. A third option is the live deck. This is a 6-foot live deck. You can put approximately 6 or 7 logs on there. The fourth option on this machine is the log stops. And the log stops on the deck perform 2 functions. One, they keep the second log. If you have a small log first and you're bringing it in and it comes right close to the end, sometimes the second log will fall in behind it. The log stops, you can bring these up and it kicks your log in and holds the other log in place. The other function that it performs is when you load the deck, like it is now, and you'll see this when we operate, you can bring your logs forward up against the stops and it'll straighten all your logs, which is really handy when you're loading, because to try to set every log on there straight takes a lot longer. The cylinder on this is a 4-inch by 24-inch cylinder, creating about 20 tons of force. That's a 3-inch rod on that cylinder, giving it a fast 6-second cycle time out and back. The pump is a Permco. That's a double pump. One section of the pump runs the saw and the splitter, and the other section runs the other functions, such as the up and down of the bar and the wedges. Fuel tank capacity 17 gallons. This machine burns approximately a little less than 3/4 gallons an hour, so you got a couple days use out of a tank of fuel on this. It's highway towable, 2-inch ball. These are hydraulic surge brakes, so you don't have to have any electrical connection in your vehicle to tow this. The axles are Dexter torque axles, so it's no problem hauling this down a bumpy road. You can haul it right along at 65 miles an hour on the interstate. For transport, the live deck lifts straight up with a hydraulic cylinder, and there's a tie bar that attaches right there to go across to hold the deck in place when it's up. Even though it looks like there's a lot of valves on here, you're only using 2 of the valves most of the time. The valve to the left is just for raising and lowering the deck, so that's not used very often at all. The next valve, the live deck, you use it each time after you finish one log, you bring another log in on your live deck. The feed trough valve is the one that you use all the time because you're bringing the log forward. And as you can see, for a log stop, we use a chain, and you bring your log up against that chain. We've got a gauge up there that measures your length. The next valve is the saw. Now this activates the chain, and that only runs when you're cutting, so when it's sitting there idling and it's not wearing the chain. The splitter valve is an automatic cycle valve. When you pull both of those handles, the splitter will go out through the piece of wood and go back on its own. While the splitter is going through the wood, you are advancing your next log, clamping it, and getting ready to cut. That's where this valve comes into play, clamp and bar, and that's the one you're using along with your saw and your feed trough valve. That one clamps the log, and then in sequence the bar comes down and goes through the log. The log stop is used each time when you're bringing a log into the feed trough. And then the last valve is the wedge. Can either run the 4-way or the 6-way, depending upon which way you pull a diverter valve, which is down on the bottom. When you push that one way, it'll run the 4-way. When you push it the other way, it'll run the 6-way. This particular unit also happens to have an optional conveyor circuit where you can quick connect a hydraulic conveyor right into the unit.
Scp-Diesel shown with our optional multi-wedge, which allows you to cut 6, 4, or 2 ways. You can also put an 8-way wedge on the front, down there, out of the wedge, flip this to space. Separator grate, separates out all your chips. Make sure you have a nice clean load. Flipper tray, which makes sure the last piece doesn't fall in. Make sure you get a straight cut.